smash the like button, and subscribe.
Well, I just think he's at this time he's just the best person that we could have in the leadership position.
And what makes you think that?
What do you not support?
Well, it's a long list. He was held civilly liable of sexually abusing women. He bragged about walking into the
Yeah.
changing rooms of naked women while they're changing without their consent, where two 18-year-olds came out, said there were 4 girls as young as 15 years old in these changing rooms. He said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. He said he had sex in common with his daughter, said he had Howard Stern calling his daughter a piece of ass. Said he had his daughter is voluptuous, which means curvy and sexually attractive, and said he'd be dating his own daughter if it wasn't his daughter. His tax policy disproportionately goes to the rich and wealthy, and he increased taxes on working class people by imposing tariffs disproportionately, which negatively impacts lower and middle income individuals disproportionately, along with the fact that he pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers, and sent false slates of electors to electoral college to cast Trump votes when he didn't win to try to steal the election in 2020. He called for the execution of some Democrats because they said to follow the law and to not follow unlawful orders. He called for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. He's violated multiple constitutionally protected rights, such as the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He's threatened to violate the 22nd Amendment. I can go to countless ones.
The first litany that you read off, that was that's you're talking about his the way he talks sexually. Yes, it's bad what he says. I understand that, but do you really think that he means everything that he says?
Well, I don't think he means
Honestly,
every single thing that he says, but the things that I brought up, yeah, I do think that there were things that he was saying that,
you really think that he said he wanted to date his daughter? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I mean, I can play the audio of him saying
You
that. He did.
really? I know, but I'm saying, do you really believe that deep down in your heart? You really believe that?
Yeah.
You do.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, I don't know how old you are. Like I said, I'm 58, so I've got daughters that are 25 years old. I think what he was saying is he's proud of her looks, and I know that might sound weird, but I say the same thing sometimes. I don't say it like that, but I say that they're very good-looking women. They
Yeah,
are.
I think there's a
I'm
big
proud of them.
distinction between saying that you think that your daughter is beautiful or, specifically like complimenting your daughter within that particular way, and saying that you'd be dating your own daughter if it wasn't your daughter. I think there's a difference in sexualizing your daughter
I
versus just complimenting your daughter. Like, those
I
are
think
very
that's his
big
way.
distinctions.
That's his way. I think that's his way of complimenting. But that's
I don't think
like I
that should
said,
be a way. I don't think that should be a method of complimenting your daughter that's acceptable. I think that that clearly should not be acceptable, especially when he's
so
called
that
his
right
daughter
there. So
voluptuous.
you're
When he
saying that
said yeah to
should,
Howard Stern, calling his daughter a
well,
piece of
she
ass.
is. But
Voluptuous just means
what?
curvy and sexually attractive. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like
Yes.
no normal dad's gonna say that about their kid.
Okay. What I'm saying is though is that so that should disqualify him from being the president of the United States. That's what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I mean, all of these things in consideration, because you're also taking into consideration that he sexually abused women, that he's admitted to sexually exploiting
Ah,
women, that he
I'm
specifically,
not for sure about
literally said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. He has horrible policies that have disenfranchised working people in this country. He's
So
pardoned
basically, he
violent
said he
rioters
dated
who beat
20
police officers and
about what?
domestic terrorists.
Yeah, you got your own little talking points that you're reading off, and you're saying them exactly the same way every time. So I know it's not memorized. I know you got them wrote down. What I'm saying is though,
None of that
go
was
back
written
to
down. That was all off the top of my head.
okay, all right. Well, say read it again. I bet it's the same. I bet it's the same way. I bet it's
You understand that
actually
you
in
can
order.
memorize something?
Sure, if you say them enough, but you also realize that if you say things enough, you start to believe them so deep down inside that you could be looking at it the wrong way, but yet you just memorized it, and you know that you're supposed to memorize it that way. And then
No, it's that I have it
I don't
memorized
know.
because I've had these conversations a lot and I know what I'm talking about. So if you want to dispute any
Well,
point of what
well,
I'm saying, you can
well, I mean,
dispute
I'm
it.
just saying.
Just
Well,
because I
sure. I mean,
memorize it doesn't mean that it's incorrect as well.
well,
You can
you're right.
memorize true information.
That is true, and you can also memorize false information.
Yeah, but can you
Okay, so
demonstrate
how
that what
about
I
what?
said was
Well, I mean,
false?
well. Let me ask you this: you said something about the 10-year-old girl, right?
Yeah.
Like I say, all right. You said that he would date her in 10 years, right?
Yeah, he said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years.
Right. So actually, he's saying he did a 20-year-old. He didn't say he was going to take a 10-year-old out. He's saying he's going to wait till she's 20. Is that right?
Okay. Would you be okay with him going up to a kindergarten classroom and say he'll be dating the 5-year-olds in 15 years?
I mean, as long as they're 20 years old when he does it.
I think that's a ridiculous and absurd thing to say. I don't think it's
I think
acceptable for
that's, I
old
think,
60-year-old men to go up to 5-year-olds and 10-year-olds and say he'll be dating them in 15 and 10 years. I think that's absurd. I think that's sexualizing little kids. I think that's disgusting.
I think that the sexualization of little kids is. I think we passed that a long time ago. I mean, yeah, if we could get onto that and
I mean,
start
there's that, and
talking about
also that he's
that.
like literally hasn't released all of the Epstein files when legally obligated to do so. He's literally credibly accused by a minor in the Epstein files who got a settlement with the Epstein estate. So I mean, like, if you
Well,
want
I
to talk
mean,
about his inappropriate behavior with minors, I think that's very clear. It's not just
I
this
don't
scenario;
think
it's
you
also this
don't think.
scenario.
Well, let me ask you a question though. You really believe that he has done something with a minor, and no Democrat, and Democrats have to know, they have to, if he did something like that. I mean, there's no way that they would let him stay in. I mean, there's
I
absolutely
do
no way.
believe that Donald Trump has done that. Absolutely.
All right, so what? All right, what I'm getting at is this: you're telling me that there is no Democrat that is going to come out and say that, even though they've got the proof that he's done.
So no, there's literally a credible accusation from a minor in the Epstein files who got a settlement with the
So,
Epstein estate. I'm not saying
right,
there's
what I'm
no
saying
credible
is,
accusation against Democrats at all. Of course, I can call
no,
out a
no, no,
Democrat
no,
if
no, no,
something's
no, no,
applicable
no,
to
no, no.
them.
I wasn't saying that. I was saying that if there's a Democrat that is worth his anything, if he knows that Donald Trump is 100% guilty of doing something with a minor, then why? You can't tell me that they couldn't get him out. There's no
Are
way.
you saying release of the files or like prior administrations, or are you saying like, given that there actually was this, they couldn't get him out? No, I mean you need to have Republicans
Well,
and the cabinet on board to get rid of the president. So
I
yeah,
just
we're
don't.
trying to, but you understand
With
that they're
everything,
not
yeah.
pushing hard enough from the right wing.
Well, and believe me, I'm not for any of that. If he did something like that and it can really be proven, then yeah, sure. I say we take him out. I don't care,
Well, then
but
you should be able to do it now. I mean, in of itself, him
you
saying that,
should. But that's what I'm
in of
trying to
itself,
say.
him
Why
saying,
can't anybody?
in of itself, him saying that he wants to prevent the release of the Epstein files is something that we can consider a reason to say that like this would implicate him in a manner in which you wouldn't want to support him, right?
Here's the deal. I'm not going to support anybody that's a pedophile. I'm not going to do that. But if he is a pedophile, it seems like that there would be somebody that's able to drop like a bombshell and just haven't seen it.
So you understand that Donald Trump has been held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman. They have
Yes,
been trying to
yes.
cover up the Epstein files. So actively speaking, just because someone hasn't been put in prison doesn't mean that they haven't done this. For example,
Well,
has anyone been arrested in this country based upon the Epstein files?
yes and no.
No, since the Epstein
Except
files
for
have been released, has there been anyone here in the
well,
U.S. that's been arrested? The answer to
well.
that question is no.
How about
So then,
the
do you
girl
believe anyone is guilty
that
based upon?
Gazelle?
Do you believe that there was anyone guilty
Gazelle, she's.
based upon the release of the Epstein files?
Do I believe anybody has been arrested? No, I don't. No,
No, do you believe that anyone was
but I
guilty?
don't know. Oh, sure. I mean, there's
Okay,
somebody.
so you
Yes, I
agree
believe
that
that
people
there's
are
people that did that.
guilty, but you also agree that people haven't been
I don't know
arrested.
who.
So just because someone
But
hasn't been
yes,
arrested or hasn't been held accountable for something yet does not mean that it is not something that they've done.
but you are telling us that you're saying that the president of the United States did it. I'm
Yeah.
saying that somebody has to be able to prove that.
Yeah, there was a
And, it,
settlement
and
with the Epstein
it's,
estate.
but the settlement, I mean, that's not. Where's the? All right. So does it say exactly what happened?
Well, it demonstrates that there was enough evidence to indicate that this person was credible in making their accusations against Epstein. And if one of their
Right.
accusations against Epstein was that Epstein trafficked her to Trump, well, then I would say that that would be a credible accusation if the accusations against Epstein were deemed to be credible enough to warrant a
So you're
settlement.
saying that Trump. So you're saying that Trump settled with this person.
No, I'm saying that the Epstein estate settled with this person.
So now it's really not Trump settling with this person. It's the Epstein estate.
I never said it was Trump settling with them. I said it was the
Right.
settlement with the Epstein
And what I,
estate every
and what
single
I'm
time
trying.
I've said this.
Right. But what I'm trying to say is that there's nothing that really leads back to Trump himself. Epstein
It
estate
does.
settled this, not Trump.
But you understand that the
I
accusation they
understand what you're
made
saying.
was
I
still
understand what you're
about
saying.
Epstein's
Yes.
behavior.
Sure. I understand Epstein's behavior is not very good.
Okay? But Epstein's
Okay.
behavior here is what they were specifically identifying. And if they identify that this claim is true about Epstein's behavior, then that means that Trump is implicated.
Not necessarily. I mean,
It
I don't say I
literally
believe
does
that.
because it says if the accusations against Epstein are credible, and one of the accusations includes Trump, and it's still made about Epstein trafficking them to Trump, that tells you the exact point there that obviously Donald Trump is implicated.
I mean, you're saying that like they've got a file that specifically says everything he did with some minor child. They might, but nobody has seen it. And you're saying the reason being is the Epstein estate settled. I understand. Maybe that was a great legal move, but I just don't see how there's nobody that can get to the bottom of it. Somebody has to have seen it.
Yeah, so you understand that we quite literally have got to the bottom of this. It's just you're unwilling to believe it.
No, I'm not. I'm not unwilling to believe it. It's just I've got to see something to believe. And
Yeah,
you
I'm
saying,
giving you the
I know what you
evidence.
just, I know what you just said, but that evidence is, I mean, you don't see how it would be if I don't know, Parker's your first or last name, but say that,
It's my
the
first name.
Epstein's, all right, Parker, say that the Epstein estate settled, but your name was in it. Maybe you didn't do anything. And now people are out here
Yeah,
saying, well,
I understand, but they settled on an accusation specifically relating to Epstein's behavior, meaning that these claims were deemed to be credible.
exactly.
So
Maybe
then
he
here's my
did do
point.
some of
Here's
those
my point.
things.
If
But I'm
Trump
just
is
saying, Trump.
if Trump is so innocent, why were they scrubbing the interviews associated with the allegations? And why haven't they released the conclusions associated with these three interviews?
I don't know, and I wish I did.
Think
I mean,
about
I
that,
wish
Lance.
that somebody should be able to get to the
That
truth.
tells
Is
that
all I'm
that
saying.
is guilty behavior. That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't look good, but I'm just saying that there's nothing that's came out.
But it's guilty behavior. Do you agree?
I do agree with that, but do you also agree that just because it's guilty behavior doesn't necessarily mean that he did it?
It
I mean,
doesn't
I mean,
necessarily mean that, but it's
right.
evidential points towards the fact that he did do this.
It does not look good. I give you that.
But it's
But
evidence
what I'm
towards the
saying,
fact that he's done this.
I don't. I really, God's honest truth, I just don't see him doing that. I can see that he
Okay,
could
well,
be
you can say
wrapped
that
up.
you don't feel like he would do this, but all the evidence indicates this. There's been 27 plus people that have accused him of sexual misconduct. If your belief is true, you have to believe every single one of them are lying.
Well,
Okay?
you have to believe. Well, now sometimes there is some bandwagon jumping going on. I mean, it is.
No, but do you
I
understand? You have
mean,
to believe every single one of the 27 plus women that have come out and accused him of sexual misconduct. You have
right.
to believe every single one is lying.
I and yes, you're right. I would have to believe that.
And
That's
do you
true.
believe that?
And well, what I'm saying is, whenever I say bandwagon jumping, I mean if you get two or three people that will accuse him of something, it just gets easier and easier for other women to start coming out where he might have said something at the time it wasn't considered to be sexually, I don't know, wrong to say, but now
We're
in
talking about
these
sexual
times, it
misconduct, and
is.
also, like, I'm sorry, but like, you can't just say, "Oh, some women already coming out is going to be evidence that more other women will come out." We're talking about 27 women, dude.
Yeah,
Why do you think
yeah.
every single one would be a liar? That's ridiculous to me. Why would you
No,
believe the pathological liar, the guy who's cheated on every single one of his wives, the guy that had 30,000 confirmed lies or misleading statements in his first administration, the guy that lied to you about the results of the 2020 election, right? Why would you believe that guy over 27 plus women that have come out and accused him of the same type of actions, sexual misconduct? Things that he's admitted to. He's admitted to grabbing women by the vagina without asking. He's admitted to walking into the changing rooms of
well,
naked women while they're changing without their consent, where two 18-year-olds came out and said there were four girls as young as 15 years old in these changing rooms when Donald Trump would barge in. At what point will you see there to be enough of a pattern of behavior where you can call it out?
well, I guess I won't because what you said about that Billy Bush interview, he didn't say that he would just walk up to him and do that. He said that they would allow people if you're famous.
Someone allowing you to do something is not evidence that they've consented to it.
Well, I would disagree with you on that.
Wait. So because they don't prevent you from doing something, does not mean that they have consented to it.
Just because, well, I'm sorry, I sort of lost
If
you on that. I
someone
mean,
freezes down and they never have consented,
right.
right? Do you think in that circumstance they consented?
Uh, I do not think that
They
consented.
technically allowed it because they didn't prevent it. but
That's
they
right.
froze down and they didn't specifically consent. So in that
Well,
scenario,
they
it's
didn't. Well, they
non-consensual.
didn't. Well, they didn't specifically not consent.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, they
you
just.
have to consent. If you haven't consented, you haven't consented. That's non-consensual.
All right. How about if you? Okay. All right. I mean, I see what you're saying, and it doesn't look good for him on that part. No, it doesn't. But again, if it's so bad, somebody has to have the absolute smoking gun on him, and it's
They
just not come
do.
out.
They literally do. It's just that you won't believe it. Like literally, dude.
How?
There's
Well, I
listen,
not
listen, dude.
believe it. Well,
There's
I'm
been
not
an
the only
entire
one.
unanimous.
I'm
Listen,
not
dude.
the only one.
There's been an entire unanimous decision of 9 people in a jury. All 9 jurors indicated Donald Trump did this in the civil court. The
Okay.
judge said that Donald Trump, in fact, raped E. Jean Carroll.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is a New York. I'm just saying.
You see what I
It's
mean?
in
You'll
New
come
York.
up with any excuse. You understand
I
that Donald
just
Trump's.
asked.
You
I
understand that
was asked.
yes, it is a
I
New
was
York
asking.
trial. It is
All
a New
right.
York
All right.
trial
All right.
because that's where Donald Trump lived. And you understand that in terms of that situation, Donald Trump and his lawyers were a part of the jury selection process.
Yes, yes, I understand that. But I
Okay,
was
so
just what I'm getting at is you're telling me though, have, there is there has to be something other than what is. I have to really see something a little bit more. I guess is
what do
what
you
I'm
need?
saying.
What else do you need at this point?
I don't know. I don't know. I
Exactly.
really
This is
don't.
what I mean. Like you don't
I mean,
even
I'm
know
being
what you
honest
need.
with you. I'm
It
being
just needs
honest.
to,
I'm
and
being
it's like
honest.
some unbearable level of standard. Like no matter what, it's gonna constantly you're gonna move the goalpost. You need more. Like if
I
you
don't
can't
know.
tell me what is enough, then how do you know what will be it?
Well, I mean, I could come out with some outlandish things. I mean, somebody just coming out with pictures, videos, everything else. I mean, yeah, sure, if that happened. But I don't want to have to rely on just somebody having pictures or videos. I wish that somebody would come out, but I mean, I know what you're saying. People have said that. I don't know.
But you're going to make it
I can't get
impossible
it in
for
my.
victims to be able to prove that they've done this. And you're essentially creating
I can see
conditions where
that.
you will
I can.
never believe victims. And I think that
I
this is
can
such an
see it.
unreliable standard for you to be able to identify this because you're essentially, if you don't believe any victims, going to be leaving so many people who have been assaulted out from public support, from general support of you believing and being there for them and validating them and the fact that this is literally shouldn't have happened to them and that it's horrible. And instead you're contributing to a culture that is literally going to perpetuate violence against these victims where it doesn't believe them, where it constantly limits them from being able to hold their abusers accountable, right, etc. Like you understand that these things actively like harm victims.
Yes, I do. And I'm sitting here thinking about what you said. What would it take for me to believe? And I'm starting to get mad at myself a little bit because I see what you're saying, and I look back at. I got twin daughters, and I wouldn't want anybody treating them like that. Um, I'm just saying the way he talks, I think, gets him into a lot of trouble. And I'm just being. I mean, he might say stuff that you don't agree with. He might say stuff that back in the day was okay. I'm not saying it's okay to say, but it was not frowned upon as much as it is now. I think that he still wants those days to be here. They're not. Uh, I I don't know. I guess that in a way, I'm giving a big benefit of the doubt by saying that he's all talk, and hopefully that's all it is. And I guess that's what I'm at. I guess that's what I'm believing, honestly, because once you start breaking it down the way you did, that it does look really, really bad. It does look like we got our heads in the sand on this, and I can't believe that America is actually standing for this. If that's the case, it, I would hope that there would be somebody that would get him out. But like I said, I'm talking about even the Republicans. That's what I'm talking about.
I
I
would love
mean,
for there
what
to
did
be
JD
people to
Vance?
get him
What
out
did JD
too,
Vance?
but what you don't realize is that we have to be the ones that stand up to get him out. And if we cannot stand up to get him out, then they're going to be able to stay in these positions of power. My position is that it should be literally illegal for someone who's been held civilly liable of sexually abusing a woman or criminally convicted of sexually abusing someone for them to even run for president in the very first place. I think
I
the
would.
whole idea that they should be even able to run for president of the United States is absurd to me.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
Okay, if you agree with me on that, that
Yeah,
means it would
I agree
make
with you on
it would
that.
make
I agree.
Trump it would make it illegal for Trump to
You're
run for
right.
president then.
You're exactly right. But how many people would we be having come out accusing every candidate, and then how would we go about getting everybody either
Well, I'm
prosecuted
not I'm
or
not talking about just an accusation. I'm talking about someone being held civilly liable right, of sexual abuse or criminally convicted of sexual
Oh, okay,
abuse,
okay. I got
right?
you.
And this is something that's
I got
applicable to Trump. There's a court process in that respect. It's not just an accusation.
No, I know. But don't you think it would lead to more people getting just falsely accused? I'm just saying a lot of people would just come out just to try to,
No, I actually don't think it would lead to more people getting falsely accused.
All right, man. Well, hey, listen, I just wanted to join in and say, just try to put my 2 cents in, but I appreciate everything. I
Okay,
really do.
alrighty.
All
I
right.
appreciate you coming up.